TSPR tool training for creating building geometry. To access the tool, you would need to log in to buildingenergyscore.energy.gov. If you do not have an account, you would need to register using your email address and creating a password. This page also has some links to getting started with the tool. If this is the first time you're using the tool, you can view the quick start guide and some example data entry protocols. Once you've registered, you can go to the tool, log into the tool and create a building. You can do that by...
This conference will now be recorded.
TSPR tool training for creating building geometry. To access the tool, you would need to go to buildingenergyscore.energy.gov, where you would log in using your email address and password. If you do not yet have an account, you would need to register to use the tool. The tool works best on Chrome or Apple Safari. This page also has some links to some helpful documents if you are new to using the tool. The Quick Start Guide is a great document to look at, and there is an example data entry process also listed in the HVAC system data entry example. Once you've registered and logged in, you can log into the tool and you would see 3 tabs for Asset Score, TSPR, and Audit Template. To create a TSPR building, you would need to go into the TSPR tab and you can click on Add a Building. This has a list view of all of the buildings that have been created by you or have been shared with you. So once you click on Add a Building, the tool will ask you to define a building name, specify the year completed, or you can check on the Not Applicable checkbox if this is a new building. You would specify Washington State Energy Code in the Energy Code for analysis, provide the address of the building, the location, the floor area, and also the submitter's information. If this is a test building, you can click on Test, or if this is a real building, then you can click on Real. Once a building has been created, the tool will bring you to a screen with multiple tabs. This is in this example, a building has already been created. When you log into the tool for the first time, there would be no geometry defined, and you would need to create one by clicking on this plus icon to add a block. So the way geometry is defined in TSPR tool, there are multiple predefined shapes, and you can create multiple of these shapes to create a geometric representation of your building. So over here, we'll add a block. We'll give it a name, define the number of floors, and also define the building geometry dimensions. We can then move this block around by just clicking on it and moving it around. We can also change the view at which we're viewing the building geometry by just clicking on our mouse and spanning this. There are multiple tools which facilitate modifying the building geometry to meet the actual building design. Toggle guide, in which you can modify the exact dimension at which blocks are snapped together. So by changing this value, now these two blocks are snapping at a 10 feet distance from each other. Or I can also modify this to make this an exact precise snap. Similarly, there is this snap button, which makes sure that the blocks you have placed on top of each other, adjacent to each other, are actually snapping with each other. Once you have created the building geometry, you can also click on the blocks to view their details. So for instance, this gives me the block name, the number of floors, the floor to floor height, floor to ceiling height, and the total block floor area. All of this information can be edited by clicking on Edit Block.